To the Pursuit of Truth. So I recently found out that Ian R. Crane had passed away. I don't know exactly when. The last time I knew that it was live was 9 months ago. I messaged him on his channel and he said he was taking it one day at a time. But then I saw on his other channel there were some RIPs coming, and on his main website that I managed to find it mentioned that he had passed away. And I was just thinking how Des passed away as well. They both had cancer. I don't know how long Ian had cancer for, because he used to cover GCMAF, and I found him through Des when he had cancer, and he was highlighting that issue. But it just seems coincidental that that they passed away, both talking about GCMAF. Obviously David Noakes, I don't know what happened to him, because obviously Ian R. Crane was the one that was covering that, and he was in a court case. I don't know what happened in the end, and was it Lynn, I can't remember her name, Lynn something, was in Paris for her part in the GCMAF thing. And it just seems like all the people that were involved in it and championing it are now passed away, and so we will never know whether GCMAF was a better treatment for cancer than radiotherapy or chemotherapy. I mean, I always find it difficult to talk about these things because I don't have, when you talk about other things, there's no life or death issue that could be erased from it, whereas when it comes to medication, if people have the wrong idea and end up dying of it, that's the concern for me, without any kind of medical knowledge myself to talk about it. I just wish that we lived in a world where people could take things seriously, and like with GCMAF, if it was this better cure than chemotherapy and radiotherapy, why those people, those pharmaceutical companies, those doctors that must have been approached and knew about this, couldn't research it for themselves, rather than shutting down David Noakes' production of it? I don't know. He had results. I don't know whether, obviously that, I don't know what his background is, what the people that work in there, whether the tests were done in the same way. They may have evidence that shows that it does work. And then of course you get the idea of money being involved in the health industry, and obviously they make a lot of money out of not so much cures, but medicine that keeps you alive but never really cures the issue. That seems to be the way that medicine's going these days. Like with COVID, it only lasts 6 months. The vaccination, it starts to wane, and then you need a booster, and then it's every year, and that makes them a lot of money. Whereas a cure is only a one-time pill, isn't it? So that's my worry, that obviously when money comes into it, do they lose that moral objective of what they're really meant to be doing? It's not about making money, it's not about keeping customers, it's about the humanity of it, of keeping people alive and keeping people in a better life and solving problems rather than keeping them going. But it just seems coincidental that now Ian has passed away, because he was, I watched his channel a few times, and he was always, going to the court cases, bringing these issues up, having conventions, and I don't know how long. I think his sister died of cancer, and that's why he was interested in GCMAF, but I don't know if he had it when he was covering it, or how he got it, what it was. There wasn't really much detail that I could see of it. But on the flip side, and this is, when you watch programs, I was watching Doubling Down with the Doricos, was it something like that? And a child had to have surgery because of the shape of his head, and it was a surgery that had happened to because of his brain not being able to expand in the right way, and all the problems it could have caused. And the relief of them having, that surgery especially, without it, a lot of people, and medication, there's a lot of medication that's keeping people alive, and yeah, obviously there may be a money aspect to it, but what I mean is, without these things, people 100 years ago would be dead. So there is something to be said for medicine. It does have its place in humanity. It's just trying to cut out the money aspect of it and making sure that people are working together rather than apart for competition for that money, and solving these things together as humanity. Because we've come so far. When you think of the, babies 5 months old can survive now, whereas previously they wouldn't have. So medicine does have its place. It does have an important place, and without them, when you're ill, when you're sick, when you're in pain, that's where you go, and they alleviate it where they can. And of course they're stuck because all they can work with is what the pharmaceutical or those people, that may be more interested in money, give them to work with, the tools. I guess the real problem isn't medicine, it isn't tablets, it isn't vaccines, it isn't those things. I mean, there may be people have issues with the contents and things, but I don't know whether people really have an agenda to do things like that what anti-vaxxers will talk about. But the problem is the infrastructure, the way that money, like I've always said, shouldn't be involved in homing and medicine and food and things like that. Those should be part of humanity to live, that we should all equally have those things. Yeah, if you want to have money, have it for unnecessary things, trinkets and luxuries, but not essentials like healthcare, like homing, like food, because we all need those to survive, and we all should have a basic level, really, that we all enjoy those things, so that we can enjoy this one existence of this beautiful planet that we're on. And obviously, if you took out from medicine money, and you took out this idea of competition, of each one trying to get the customer, and like recently we saw when they're trying to buy out customers to try and keep their product higher in value, all those things, if you took all that away, that would maybe bring back the trust in medicine for people like anti-vaxxers who are worried about what it's really about, whether it's really necessary, how necessary it is. Like with COVID, I mean, for young people, it may not be so necessary to have vaccinations because their immune system is already strong enough and doesn't need that help. But if we didn't have money, and if we did have people working together for the betterment of humanity, which I don't see a problem with that, but then I guess we live in a world where we've all been programmed that money is essential, and that's the only way that we could live. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that. Take care, take it easy, God bless, and peace.